Good afternoon out there, Flosstubers. This is Danielle coming at you. I thought I would pop on here and let you know that there's a vehicle driving by my house. Let you know that things are doing better today than in my last video. In my last video I was really down. I probably shouldn't have been making a video because I really wasn't having a good day like I thought I was. So I thought I would just stop by and say that things are trucking along, everything's okay. But since that video, I've finished... Oh, that's where that needle went. Sorry. I was looking for that one. Finished the blue balls. I did this on some hand-dyed Ada that I did, and I used some variegated floss in blues and stuff, and I even used the rayon in that kind of really pretty electric blue color, and it goes super in this blue oval frame that I happen to have laying around. This is part of a triptych of mod designs that I got from an Etsy seller, so I will link to her below. She does all kinds of really cool things. I think I've actually linked to directly to the patterns as well as her shop, so that you can have a look-see at whatever suits your fancy in there. To finish it, I took a length of the same Ada cloth and just folded it over and did like a very, very basic running stitch with it's a DMC, but it's not like a, I guess it is like a pearl cotton, but it's not thick pearl cotton. And I just affixed it to the back, did a gathering stitch with pleats and stuff at the back. That's typically how I will finish my backs, because I do a lot of hoops. I do a lot of hoop stuff. I noticed that with cross stitchers, it's not limited to hoops or frames. It's people finish in all kinds of ways, which is cool. If you've got the room for it, it's really cool. I don't really have the space so much, unfortunately. It'd be cool if I could, though. Anyway, so there's that. And I'm working on, I've got a little teensy tiny hoop. It's small. Like, there's my hand. So it's little. I wrapped, this is common as well, because this hoop is a typical hoop, plastic hoop that's got just the straight side walls inside, so the tension can be at issue. This is another one of those ones that's got the tongue and groove in it, so it doesn't have a tension issue. Plus, that's a cross stitch pattern, so I did that in hand before I washed it and dried it out flat and then mounted it into the hoop. This kind of embroidering I have to use a hoop for. I cannot maintain the tension the way I need to. So I had some, this is actually broadcloth from a quilt back that I used in the last quilt that I finished, actually, and I have a lots of yardage from that left over. So I thought, that's cool. It's cool fabric. I like it. I might as well use it in this little tiny hoop that I had no plans for. I couldn't figure out what to do. I bought this as part of a set. It came as a set of 3, and I bought the set mainly because I wanted the big hoop that was in it, because it was big. And a lot of times hoops just don't come that big, so but this is the little guy that came in there too, and I was like, So I got the design idea. I was first inspired by watching RuPaul's Drag Race with my husband. He loves costume. That's like his favorite thing. And I like watching the show too. It's a good show. And yeah, so it's kind of drawn my eye to the details of fashion and design and making it yourself. And so I thought, cool. So I grabbed my coloring book that I got at Michael's a while ago called Fashion from the Jazz Age, and it's just illustrations of that style that I wouldn't call it flapper. There was like one or two that are kind of flappers, but most of the fashions are later than that. It's from the 30s kind of. So the low, like, dropped waistline and very, very, very straight silhouettes and things like that with lots of beads. And what I thought was, well, I can't fit anything reasonable in here. Like, even if I shrunk a design down, I wouldn't be able to fit it and stitch it nicely. So I decided to just take a part of the image. So I just took the hoop, the inner hoop, before I wrapped it, and just kind of slid it along a portions of the pictures in the book that I really liked and thought would suit themselves well to being represented as a standalone piece. And I found this is a lady with, I just gave myself a vague guide here that goes through her hand and it comes up and it goes up it's a long strand of beads that she's wearing, because that was the style at the time. And I thought, I used to bead constantly. If you've never seen any of my beading videos, there's lots of them. You can feel free to go look. So I've got beads up the wazoo to use that are they're just sitting there. I haven't used them in ages. So I thought, this would be great. So while I'm waiting for my next cross-stitch patterns to arrive, I'll just do some free embroidery. So that's what I'm doing. And I will bead her sleeves. She's got these amazing sleeves, this really high neckline, but with a low kind of U-shaped collar. And she's got a flower that she's kind of fondling. And yeah, just lots of opportunities for some really fun stitches. I am couching. The pink is all couched. Her hands are back stitched, and that's all I've got done right now because I just started it yesterday. So yeah, I like making my own designs. They're a ton of fun. I've not tried my hand at making my own cross-stitch patterns. That looks just really daunting to me, so I've never tried. But if it's freehand stuff like that, it's easy. I don't mind doing that. Go figure. So my next cross-stitch pattern that I need to get printed is one from Plato Squirrel on Etsy, and these are the colors, and this is the thread, the metallic, that my LNS did not have this color in the DMC light effect that the pattern called for. So I just looked at the chart, that, you know, I had to find it online. I looked at the general color and was like, oh, okay. She had some Krynic that was like that, but she's like, oh god, I hate using Krynic. And I was like, I don't know. But instead, she said, wait though, I've got Sulky. Do you like Sulky? Have you used Sulky? And I was like, yes, plenty. I use Sulky, the rayon embroidery Sulky maxi spools, they're called. They're big. I use those to do my quilting. My machine quilting is done that way. I like Sulky thread. It's really good thread. So if ever you're looking for a machine thread for decorative stuff, or even if you needed some piecing thread, do they make anything that's not synthetic? I don't know. They must. But they certainly make excellent stabilizers too. But yeah, I have a collection of their maxi spools that I've collected over the years because they're fantastic. So this is actually machine thread, I'm aware, but it was a lot cheaper because she was selling it on sale. It was a lot cheaper than the Krynic, and it was more appealing to get this or Krynic than it was to have her order in the light effect thread, just because it is a small shop. She's basically got all the new stuff, but she doesn't carry certain things like she doesn't carry a big supply of light effects. I mean, she's got them numbered, and there's drawers and everything there, but they're always empty. So it's kind of a bummer when I'm looking for one of those, because she doesn't always have them. And she doesn't carry the neons, which is unfortunate. I have to go to Michael's to get those. And same with the rayons. I have to go to Michael's to get those. Anyway, the pattern, that was a long digression, I'm sorry. This pattern is or these flosses are for a sugar skull, cute little cartoon sugar skull pattern. That's going to be really cute. The other light effect that I happen to have that the pattern calls for is this one. It's a bright gold. It's E3852, in case you care. I know a lot of people really don't like light effects. I do. I don't mind using them at all. You just have to be slow, and if you are so inclined, condition the threads. I don't usually. I just am slower. I just take, you have to stab. You cannot use the sewing method. Don't try that. You'll just make yourself mad. And use shorter lengths. Like, don't use the same length of floss that you would if you were using cotton, that's for sure, because it breaks if you're not careful. And use a laying tool. Sometimes if they're like really, really metallic-y, like really brittle kind of metallic, some of them are softer than others. And if you use some of them that are more kind of like this one tends to be a bit brittle. Like, it splits quite a bit, and I don't know if you can really tell that. No, you can't really see that. But you'll see it's like a split end in your hair. Same idea. So, these type that split like that are often kind of wiry, and they get kind of kinked on themselves. So I find if you've done any kind of gold work stuff, then you'll know what a laying tool is, or a malure. That's what they're called. They're these long metal, I don't know how to describe them. They're good though. They're kind of a flat, they look like, oh, I know what they look like. They're like half of a set of tweezers. It's like if your tweezers didn't have the two sides, if it was just the one. That's what a malure looks like to me. They're good. You just slip them under your floss as you're pulling your needle down, and it just flattens out the gold because you're using gold in gold work, but it would work, they work just as well for floss. Sorry, I'm just winding this back up. I often will use, I don't have a proper malure, but I will use like a laying tool, like whatever I've got kicking around, like my closed scissors, or a needle, like a big darning needle or something. That'll work too. It's just to keep the plies parallel rather than twisting around and getting crazy. Anyway, it's learning with Danielle. The more you know. Anyway, that's what that is for. And do other people do this? I've never seen other people do this the way I do, where all the floss that you need is put on one of these, these rings. I store all my floss like this too. Like all the floss, I separate it out by color. So I've got pinks and purples on one, I've got all my warm colors on another one, I've got all my greens on another, I've got the one that I call my values. I've got those on their own ring, and by value I just mean they're neutral. So I carry all my 310s, whether it be cotton, rayon, or polyester, because I have both cotton, I have the rayon, which is the shiny kind, and I have the light effect 310 as well. And I've got lots of kind of creamy whites, like in this pattern that I'm going to be doing. This is that creamy one that's 3865. So it's not white, it's not blanc or blanc, it's like cream-ier, but not a real cream. I do have actual cream though. This floss is for my Crystal Pepsi pattern that I bought, also from Plato Squirrel. Crystal Pepsi was only around for like a year, and that's why I had to buy the pattern. The pattern said, it's a picture of the Crystal Pepsi can, and decided it says what 1993 tastes like, and I was like, sweet, that speaks to me, because I was in high school back then, and I drank Crystal Pepsi all the time whenever I could get $1, because pop was $1 back then for a can. Maybe even less, actually. Maybe it was 75 cents, I can't remember. Anyway, I used to get it from the vending machine at school, and it was Pepsi, but they just didn't put in all the caramel coloring, so it was, the new cool thing, right? It was silly. It tasted the same. And it's funny because I don't drink Pepsi as a habit. I drink Coke as a rule, but Crystal Pepsi was a novelty, so when I saw it there, I had to get it. Anyway, I will link to her shop below. And what else? I think that's about all I've got, really. I just thought I would stop by. My husband and daughter are out at the water slides enjoying themselves, and I'm at home inside where I belong. Sun! No, I am actually really sensitive to the sun. I get burnt very, very easily and quickly. Not because of my fair skin, believe it or not. It's not because I'm so pale. It's because I take some medications, and certain meds will make you more sensitive to the light. I don't know why, but they do. So I'm staying in to do my own thing and watch my own shows that I want to watch. When you have a kid, you have to give up those, freedoms for a while. So when I can have it back, I take it. Before I forget, The other thing I did was I joined the Sal Caterpillar Countdown, I think is the name of the designer. Well, the company that I think her actual name is Sally. But anyway, she's doing that Sal right now that a lot of people are doing. It's an around the world travel. I should have looked it up. I'm sorry. I'm sure you'll have seen it around. I believe I've seen some other Flosstubers that have shown their progress, because the first installment just came out on the 22nd of June. And I saw it, and I'm in their Facebook group, and I'm like, that is just so cute. I don't usually go for cute, but that is fun though. I really like that. And I don't have any other designs like that in my collection. So I bought just the PDFs and you get, I think there's 6 months, I believe. And it's gonna turn out to be a relatively sizable pattern when it's all completed. So I thought it was a pretty good value. I paid, I think, just over 20 Canadian dollars. It was, I think, £11, 85 shillings, pence. I'm not as good with my English currency as I should be. But anyway, it was just over 11 British pounds. So, and if you are a viewer of mine and you live in the UK, you can actually get you can get her to mail you a physical copy of the pattern if you would like. But it's going to cost a little extra. She only does that for people in the UK. I remember reading that on her page, that she can only offer that to people in, I believe it's the UK, not just Great Britain. What else? Oh, and you can buy the whole kit if you want. She does sell, I know she sells the whole kit, and it seems to me if you feel like it, you can just buy the floss and get your own fabric. And I think you can even just get the fabric if you just wanted that with your purchase of the Sal. But I'm not sure. I've got enough stuff, so I didn't want to buy necessarily more stuff. I know that's weird sounding, but I like to use what I have as much as I can. So I just paid for the PDFs, and that way I can print them when I want them and recycle them when I am done. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. So I'm gonna have stuff on the go, which is kind of amazing, really, for me. So I hope you all are doing well, and that the weather in your part of the world is cooperating with you, and that you are having a good day. And thank you so much to all my new subscribers. I've gotten a bunch more, so that's fantastic. And all your comments are really, really nice. Thank you. And I guess I will just sign off here. So I'll see you on the morrow.